Okay, today we're taking the blown motor out of the Nissan Silvia, replacing it with a good motor we built last time, and we're gonna fire it up. So as you saw in the last video, we built the SR20 that's sitting behind you there, and everything went well with that build, and now it's finally time to take the blown one out of this car and replace it. And so what we're going to do is, Matt's coming down shortly. He's going to help me rip this one out. We're getting really good at it, which is kind of sad because we have to take it out so many times, but it should go a lot quicker than normal, and I'm just excited to get some progress done. And in this video, at the end of it, we're going to start the car. We're going to use that motor, we're going to start it, and we're probably going to drive it. So enough talk, let's get to it. So when I do an engine pull, what I like to do is start with the stuff underneath the car. So I do as much as I can there, because it's just kind of nice to work under the car without fluids dripping on you. So when you're actually, taking the coolant lines off and stuff like that, you're going to have fluids dripping to the bottom of the car, and if you're just working under there, it's annoying. So I'm going to undo the motor mount bolts now, maybe the transmission mount bolts, because I'm taking the motor off of the transmission. We're leaving the transmission in the car. It's just a lot easier that way with the SR20. So we're going to do as much as we can down there, and then we'll start working on the top of the car. That's about it. Let's get to it. Alright, so I think I said before that this was going to be extremely easy because I left the top two bolts out that connect the transmission to the motor, and we were just going to pull the motor without the transmission. But for some reason, there's one of the bolts down there. I left both, I put those bolts in. I'm disappointed with myself because I forgot that. I don't know why I put them in.
We can't figure that out.
Oh. I swear that someone else came in here and did that for me as a prank, Matt.
It was the squirrels.
It was the...
That's all you've been working on so far.
Yeah, you've got half the motor.
Like all this done up here.
All the accessories apart and stuff, and I've taken one bolt out, and now I'm working on the second. It's ridiculous. So, top tip, leave those top two bolts out that connect the transmission to the motor. Alright, so we are making a little bit of progress. Everything is undone as far as we know. So now it's time to hook up the motor hoist? Engine hoist?
Engine hoist.
And get it yanked out. So currently the progress doesn't look a whole lot different than before. A few things are missing, but we're going to get to it. So yeah, ripped her out, got it elevated, now we're gonna lower it down. Motor is out, as you can tell. Transmission is still in, so that technique worked. It took us just over 2 hours, and it's fantastic. Look at that, she's down there. Next part is gonna be swapping all the accessories, motor mounts, intake manifold, exhaust manifold, valve cover, coil packs, spark plugs. There's quite a few little things, but I mean, this thing is 99% done, except for that little 1% I just talked about. Matt's stoked.
Uh-huh.
See? That's his stoked position. So, it's supper time right now, but once we get back, we're going to work on that, and we're going to have the motor ready to install for tonight.
And we're going to go out for a rip.
Frickin' ripper, bud. So a little progress update. We've got Pretty much the intake side done and the front done. Putting the valve cover on again because as happens every single time I put an SR20 together, I forget to put the cam angle sensor in. And you need to have your motor at top dead center on cylinder 1 on the compression stroke. And you also need to line up some the gear with this casing here. And it's just better to have the valve cover off when you're doing that so that you can know for sure that it's timed correctly. So overview, we got the intake manifold on with its supports. Got the motor mount transferred over, alternators moved over. All these coolant lines for intake manifold and throttle body are plumbed in. Water pump pulley is on, crank pulley is on. So once we got the valve cover on, then we're gonna go ahead and put the exhaust manifold on. And I think that is the last piece, and then this motor is ready. Is that right, Matt?
Well, then we gotta do clutch and flywheel and all that yet.
All right, forgot about that. So this motor still has that installed. So, of course, like Matt said, that's the last piece, and then we got to toss it back in. So motor is almost together, and I wanted to show you guys the hole that we tapped into the block for the coolant drain, and the custom line we had made. So I'm gonna have to get light. All right, we have light now. So this black line right here, that's the line that I had made up. So it's actually, it was made by a hydraulic shop, so it's a nice, thick, super good quality hydraulic hose. And so it goes up there to the hole that we tapped, runs down, along, and my light's terrible. And then up right there, that is the turbo. So that worked quite well. I have a little bit of electrical tape here because I'm afraid that it might move back and forth and kind of wear itself out on the motor mount. But again, this is a temporary motor, so hopefully that doesn't wear through. It's a very solid line. Super good quality, so I'm hoping that will work. All right, what else do I have to do? I gotta tighten the oil drain. I gotta torque the exhaust manifold down. And then it's time for clutch and flywheel. All right. So change of plans. Turns out putting the engine in while the transmission is in is an awful idea, and I do not recommend it. Never ever do that. So we ended up taking the transmission out anyways and lining up the engine to transmission outside of the car because it's impossible inside the car. Impossible. So now Matt and I are gonna put this entire unit in, and probably in like 1 or 2 minutes we'll have the car running.
Right on.
Yeah! How long was that, Matt?
I think that was about 4 hours today.
Yeah, quite a while. More than we were expecting, but we had to drop the trans, like we said. And now it's ready.
Fire it up!
It's ready to be fired up. I'm always so nervous about this because I guarantee there's something I forgot.
This is the make or break moment.
Yeah. It's like, did I torque the crank pulley?
I did.
Is the alternator belt tight?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, see, I've not done all those things in the past.
You're relying on me, and I bet that's like very, what's the word? Stressful for you? It makes you anxious?
It makes me a little anxious because there's a chance that there's things that I forgot and you forgot, and we both forgot. But
I think we checked them all off this time.
I think big things are there. We've got coolant, we've got oil, trans fluid. Yeah, I think battery's hooked up now. I think we're gonna give it a whirl. See what happens. Yeah. See what noises it makes.
I'm ready.
See what fluids spray out. All right. I'm just gonna prime it a bit.
Yeah, get that oil up in there. I don't hear any nasty noises.
Sounds good.
You happy with that?
So far. She is purring for her first startup. Matt's stoked, I'm stoked. Sounds good so far. It's got a great idle. Doesn't seem to be puffing any smoke out of the back. Just gonna check the, see if there's any check engine lights or oil pressure light. Looks okay. We're running about, negative 16, 17 vacuum. I think that's okay at idle. Oh, now we got a check engine light flashing. It's still not timed, so we got to do that.
Yeah, but I'm surprised how well it's running, even though we haven't made any adjustments yet.
Yeah. So we've found one small issue, just barely. We got some fluid dripping. Got some fluid dripping, as you can tell. Under investigation, my thought was, oh no, it's going to be the new coolant line that we tapped.
Is it from that line?
Yeah, the blue and gold line right there. That goes into this coolant neck that attaches to the top rad hose, and that's the coolant supply for the turbo, I believe. So I'll just have to take that out and make sure the gaskets are all sealed and that's tight enough. Maybe I didn't even tighten it, but that's more investigation to do. Alright, crisis averted. As you can see, that fitting right down there, that's where it was leaking from. And I didn't tighten it all the way, so now it looks okay. No leaks. I think we're okay. All right. So just got back from the test drive. Looking for any leaks.
see any smoke.
No. I could definitely see leaks coming directly from that fitting when we were working on it earlier, when it first started it. Looks dry underneath the motor. It's not smoking. It's not ticking. Yeah, things look okay. Alright, so that is the end of this little video. And so you kind of saw us finish up putting together the SR20 and taking the blown one out and putting the fresh one in. So I don't know if it was exciting or not. We were excited the entire time.
Stoked.
There was times where it wasn't excitement of joy excitement.
I still think we made pretty good time. I mean, it took us, what, 4 hours today? 2 hours yesterday?
Yep. Yeah, so we made good progress, and I mean, the car, as you can tell, runs and drives. Doesn't leak anything, doesn't make any odd noises. It was a success. Yeah, couldn't have gone better. So, yeah. I guess the next thing we're working on is
The Furious Civic. Yes.
Yeah. That wasn't even planned.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. We both want it, though. We both want to work on that car, so.
We don't rehearse anything, so it's just kind of...
As you can probably tell. Alright, enough of our ramblings. Go watch some other cool YouTubers.